Welcome back to the DBI, Darren Barbour Investigates. I am Darren Barbour, your Minister of Information, back tonight, and we are doing a live on. Welcome back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the thumbnail. I am Darren Barbour, your Minister of Information, back tonight, and we are doing a live on. Welcome back. You saw the thumbnail. I have some kind of feedback going on. Give me just a second. Okay, there we go. I think we got it worked out. But anyway, so we're back doing a live on Damara Parker, missing out of Milwaukee. And so tonight we want to also bring you an update. So we're going to do that. And we're going to bring actually her father on, as you saw on the thumbnail, live in the interview. And so I'll update her case once we speak to her father and bring him on in just a moment. So if you're watching the video, now would be a great time to go ahead, hit that like button. And go ahead and share this video with someone and share them and let them know that DBI is going live. So go share on your Facebook, on your social media, tell them we are going live. But I'm going to bring on Mr. Parker in just a moment, who is Damara Parker's father. But just to give you a little backdrop before I do that, Damara went missing out of Milwaukee in November around 11/28. And so she had gone out to take out the trash and never came back in the house. So, and we want to find out where we stand on the case and exactly what's going on. So I'm going to bring her father on. And there he is. Marquese, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, good. Welcome to the DBI. We're glad to have you on tonight.
Yeah, glad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you. And so I just kind of share with the people just a very brief update or backdrop on Damara's case that she had went missing, 11/28, back in November. And that's kind of where I left it. I haven't even kind of told them how we met and when we met and started kind of working together or anything. So I wanted to bring you on so everybody could meet you and kind of hear what you had to say and give the backdrop from you too as well.
Yeah, so I guess I can take it back to, when she, first she disappeared. So it was, roughly around that time, November, a couple of days after Thanksgiving or so. And as you stated, she took the garbage out and she disappeared from that point. So we didn't hear anything for until actually just recently, yesterday. We were vigilant in finding her, reaching out, and also would like to thank you with, giving us guidance on, what we, kind of the steps we need to take. And and I think coupled with that, along with just people sharing it, we were able to kind of put pressure on essentially whoever, the adult male she was with in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Right. So we haven't even updated them. So for the people listening and joining the story, Damara has been found, you all.
Yeah.
And so we've located her, and that is the greatest news on the planet. And so, we're very extremely happy for you and your family. Even before we get into the story, I know you and I spoke on the phone, but I have just had an overwhelming feeling of jubilation, ever since she's been located.
Yeah. And to be honest, we got the call last night, and the person that I talked with, they didn't even introduce themselves as the police department, so I thought it was a joke. And it was and it was just kind of the communication was kind of off with as far as how she got there, and so
I want to get into that in just a little bit more in a moment too. Some of that communication that you were referring to, because there's some important things about her story that need to come out for people who may be going through something similar. A lot of parents just don't know what to do, and there's no book on it, and it's not. People don't have a lot of experience in it because it's not something that happens to every family and whatnot. So I'll want to get into some of that, in just a moment. But let's go back to, so Damara, she went missing 11/28, and you were looking for her, and that's how you and I met. While
Yeah.
you were looking for her, I did the video, and you reached out to me thanking me, and
Right.
and then we started talking from there. And I think the first update that you gave me from that point is that, and I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, this brother Marquese is a pretty good detective. He had already given me stuff. By the time we gave me some things to look at that I had saw, I was like, wow, because I was looking at the same things. So he was really doing his due diligence on
Oh
some.
yeah.
So why don't you talk about how you came across or how you put together the first path that led to finding Damara with the pictures?
Yeah, I mean, so it was. I mean, so it was just kind of a point where so it was that November, so close to, I would say, mid-December, January, we started seeing like updates. So it'll be like a updated profile picture, and
On
so
her So on her social media while she
yeah,
was gone, from time to time, you noticed that she was updating that social media.
correct, yeah,
Okay.
and so as it the time went on, those pictures started to be more frequent, right? So they'll
Okay.
you know so that she'll post a picture and it'll be like maybe 3 to 4 likes on there, and these will all be adult males. Some of them would be from foreign countries, people from Nigeria, all over the world that would be liking photos. And we as we got a little bit closer, so when we start posters started coming out, and and what kind of led us to be a little bit more vigilant is when we got a call from an adult male that had called us, and me and my wife actually. So I ended up talking to this guy, and he just made a statement like, I'm just want to see if she was alive or something like that.
You
So
got
that
to
yeah,
let me back up so we can be really clear. You received an actual phone call while she was missing
right.
from an unknown male,
Yeah, well, we know who he is now, so
but at the time that he called you, you had no idea who it was.
no.
And he said what to you?
He just made a comment like, "Hey, I just was trying to see if Damara was all right. Hope, I just wanted to see if she was alive, and that just kind of raised flags with us there, and we reported it to the police, and
To the
that's a
Milwaukee
story.
police. This is the
Yeah,
Milwaukee police we're referring to.
correct.
Excuse me.
And
So this is probably a good segue while you're there. So what did the Milwaukee police do at this time?
well, I'll just put it this way: the Milwaukee police, they didn't do anything. So they basically they categorize, depending on the child you're dealing with. We're looking at a African American child, so they look at it as, just my opinion, they look at it as these kids go missing all the time, and that's pretty much how they treated it. So when you report, they tell you to give them, they take the report, and the only other thing they tell you is give us an address, and if you have us an address for us to go to, then we'll go to that address. So there's nothing being done. And what kind of struck me was when I was speaking to you, I think the other day, you were speaking about families that you've worked with. Each one of those, they have a detective on the case. Well, we didn't receive that, and that's not anything that we got. It's just pretty much that they wait to see if we have any developer information, and that they can move on if you have a physical address. At that point, if you got an address, the child isn't missing anymore. So
Absolutely. So I want to be clear for my audience and to make sure everybody understands where we are. So when you went to the Milwaukee police, reported her missing, they took a report on her, but they
mhm.
did not assign anyone to her case or give you any point of contact with the human being that you
Mm.
could call who would update you on what they were doing in order to find Damara.
Correct. Yeah, and their protocol is, well, if she's not what they deem critically missing, for example, if there was some communication on social media where maybe she said, "I'm actually in danger," or if there was someone may have alerted them through social media. But I mean, nowadays it's like, through a lot of these kids are communicating with through social media. So I mean, there's and they know how to kind of hide, underneath, different pages, different accounts, and
No question.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
and their stance on that is that they, what they told us as far as kind of locating her through, some type of subpoena for Facebook, is that they don't have a good relationship with Facebook. So
so
there's
I'm really wanting our parents who are watching us in this live or watching this video whenever, if they even catch it on a replay, really wanting them to listen and be able to identify with some of the things that you're saying, in case they're ever in these situations, and to know how to react. As I told you then, and I'm saying now,
Mhm.
I have not heard of, when you report a child missing who's underage that goes missing, that they don't give assign a detective to
Yeah,
the case or a unit. I mean,
no,
missing persons unit, a missing persons detective. And that's why, that I urged you to involve another agency, another alphabet agency that I referred you to. And I
hmm
gave you them, which I don't have to mention on air, but I gave you them that you could also turn to get some help, and they would in turn probably put that pressure back on the police department to take the proper steps. I mean, because there should have been a detective on Damara's case.
correct. Yeah,
I mean, here we are, we're end of February of 2023, and she has been missing, as far as back as 11/28 of last year.
correct. Yeah, yeah, and they, and like I said, they're, the issue is even with kind of moving a little bit ahead with just where we found her. So they're, I on the topic of the finding the pictures on her Facebook.
Right. That's where
Yeah,
that's where we wanted to get to, where you were
yeah,
kind of playing detective, where you went through her social media and
correct.
you
Yeah,
saw her updated pictures. And when you
right. Yeah.
saw her pictures being updated, what did you see?
Well, yeah, just recently it was a new just a new profile picture, and so that kind of I started looking into just people who were liking the photos, and so you know crazy enough it was a picture. This actually and this was like something that was kind of like a collage in the back of her profile picture, and on that picture she's sitting like in this really significant designed couch. And so one of the adults that had been liking her pictures, I kind of looked into that and saw pictures with them on the same couch. And I reported this right to MPD, and they pretty much just laughed it off, to be honest. And
I really hope, I really hope smart listeners are tuning in. We have an underage girl with pictures that are being posted in a grown person's home,
hmm
and you
right,
reported it to the authorities.
yeah,
And
and their response basically was that, well, it could be, do you have an address? They want addresses, and they was like, well, it could be any couch. I said, well, this is the person she's liking their pictures, and they're liking her pictures. I mean, can we come on? Let's be honest. Let's be real here. I mean, it's just not just a coincidence. You know what I mean?
that's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, this is unbelievable because this is exactly what goes on in the African American community with missing African American women, and
Mm,
what they deem as runaways, or what they deem as young ladies that may be involved in any kind of sex work or any of these kind of what the police and law enforcement deem as their red flags of why they don't thoroughly investigate and why they don't take serious. And this is exactly how things happen to people.
All right.
You know, I mean, this unbelievable that she could be being posted up on social media, already reported missing, and that she's in the custody of grown men, and grown men are on the Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, and it's you know, it's just kind of you feel like at least in this area that you're not gonna get that help. I mean, you know there, and to be honest, I spoke with Appleton Police Department. They actually assisted us in 24 hours, way more than Milwaukee Police did
If you're
in 3 months. Yeah.
just joining us, just to bring you up to date on, we mentioned Appleton Police. We're covering the story of Damara Parker, and she
Yeah.
went missing on 11/28 of last year. And when her father reported her missing to the Milwaukee Police Department in Milwaukee, where she went missing, they took a report on her but didn't sign a detective, and so he was not able to get a human update or any kind of law enforcement update because they simply weren't working on the case. And so when he began to investigate the case on his own and went through her social media and whatnot, as what should have been done, he began to find a trail of partially where Damara may be. And so he located, or he thought he located her in Appleton, and that's why he mentioned her. How far is Appleton from Milwaukee, Marquise?
I would say about roughly maybe an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, maybe an hour or so. Yeah.
So obviously, someone transported her from Milwaukee when she went missing, because she left. And again, if you're just joining us, the backdrop is she left without any of her personal belongings. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. And
Which, I mean, how, I don't know how the police determined, hey, young lady went missing without any of her personal belongings, and what time of day or night was this?
this was actually, she left. It was the morning she left.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, without any of her communication or personal belongings, I mean, I would have thought that was mysterious. And being in law enforcement, I would have wanted to look into that. In 2023, most young people, especially a 16-year-old, they are glued to their telephone, or their telephone is glued to them.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's just alarming to me, you know, to hear these things. And again, so we were at the point where you saw these pictures on social media where she was updating, and so you called the Appleton police because of how did you get the bead drawn into Appleton? Tell us about that.
Can you repeat that?
How did you determine that Appleton was the place that you needed to focus on?
Oh yeah, yeah. So the guy that that was, you know, the adult that was liking pictures, and then that had sitting on the same couch as she was on a couple other pictures.
So
He has.
again, I just keep backtracking a little bit so the audience really understands. So when she posted these pictures, she posted them with a watermark or so with the backdrop, but you could see the couch that she was on. And the guy that was liking her pictures, one of the grown men, one of the petties.
Yeah, in his 30s. Yep.
He was in his own picture in the couch with the couch.
Yeah, and she thought she concealed it because this picture was something that she had posted maybe, I don't know, maybe close to a month ago, and had deleted it since then. But it's like on her that active Facebook, it's like kind of like a backdrop. It's like kind of like a collage backdrop, and you see it on there. And actually, I had, you know, to be honest, I had when she, about a month ago before she deleted, I had took a screenshot of that. So I just had already had these pictures of her that she would, every time she would update one, I would screenshot it and see if there was any clues in there. And yeah, and when you go to the guy's Facebook, it clearly states in his kind of his bio info, like he lives in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Okay, so that's why you went to the Appleton police.
Correct. Yeah.
And you said that they were way more responsive than the Milwaukee police.
Oh man, I sat on the phone with them for maybe 15 minutes and kind of described everything about the pictures, and they were more than helpful. Actually the person I spoke with, they actually looked on the Facebook. They kind of cross-referenced and looked at the Facebook, her Facebook and the guy's Facebook, and she said that she would basically alert police officers, and they would try to locate to see if they knew this person, because it's a Facebook name, so it I mean that the last name it appears like the last name is real, but that first name is just kind of like a nickname. Yeah.
Okay, so the Appleton police sound like that they're going to get way more involved with the situation.
Oh man. And I even had an officer that I spoke with, gave me a cell number. I sent him everything, the pictures, the like what you got there for her missing poster, and even like just the pictures of those couches, and they even went as far as they even on their Facebook page, they put her missing poster up there, and asking for help and that she could be located in Appleton. So, and that was like probably around about, I think they posted it about an hour before we got the call from Gary, Indiana.
So again, I'm just bringing people kind of up to speed. Damara Parker went missing on 11/28, and basically when her dad went to the Milwaukee Police Department, where they should have gotten help, they weren't getting much help. So he did what any good parent's going to do, and continue on with his investigation as he did. And that's kind of how we met and came into meeting each other. I had done a video flyer on Damara, reporting her missing, and put it out. And he called me up, and we kind of combined forces and started doing what we could do to find Damara. But this gentleman was already a social media detective, putting things together between her Facebook and where he thought she may be. And
and while you're on that, I want to thank you for that too, where you kind of told me that, hey, go, and everyone that in this guy from Appleton, look at those whoever's liking his picture, or because you couldn't, he had some profiles you look at, you can how you could look and you can click see their friends. Absolutely. He had something on there where you couldn't see that, but you could see the picture who picked the likes and hearts and everything that people like. I went through all of those people and sent the missing poster, please help. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what he's mentioning is, ladies and gentlemen, once we got in contact, I just kind of gave him some advice on how to contact some people around in his circle. And so that's what needed to happen. Like, if you're not ashamed or you're not doing anything wrong, then everybody around you can know that you have this young lady who we're all searching for. And, once we're out here searching for her, we thank God that you have found her, because that's what the pressure is about. All of these flyers, these videos, is the pressure to try to find this young lady. And we are super happy that she's been found. But it's disturbing that she was not assigned a detective.
Yeah.
That's super disturbing, and it's really disturbing listening to the point of the story where we are, where she's been located with grown adults. And I want to backtrack. So once this social media pressure began to build closer to Appleton and the police getting involved, you said that they transported Damara where?
To Gary, Indiana.
From Appleton, Milwaukee?
Appleton, Wisconsin. Yeah.
I mean Appleton, Wisconsin.
And before we go there, I want to. So what? Prior to us finding out she was in Gary, I actually spoke to someone who actually used to date this pedophile. I mean, we can be clear on that. And used to date him, and she stated it 3 years ago. And I described to her about my daughter's 16. She how long she's been missing, and she just pretty much made a comment. I dated him 3 years ago, and I know him, I know his family, and what you tell me, I can believe that that she didn't go into too much detail, but she just basically said, I can believe that there's something that he'll do and that she'll try to reach out to him. And so that was like morning, just yesterday morning or some
Right.
late morning. And I said, hey, look, if you reach out to him, I don't want to talk to him. Whoever has her, just take her to the police department. And what they did, I guess, what they thought a tactic was to take her out of state and have her walk in the police department, Gary, Indiana.
Well, what they did was, depending how far the law enforcement wants to take it, what they did was just made it a federal case because you crossed the state line.
Right. Yeah.
So that always brings in the FBI if they wanted to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who coached them up on that move, but
yeah, it was just probably someone said, hey, take her to a different hold on, wait a minute.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, somebody probably told them that I'm still trying to figure out why because we already know, we don't, although we don't know a name, wherever you could take her to California and we still know, pretty much, people that know you and everything like that, and you just don't have a government name, but
Well,
so
I'm
that wouldn't
sure.
change anything.
Oh, sure. I'm sure law enforcement, that won't be hard for them to track down. They'll definitely come up with a name.
Right.
But again, the trafficking from from Milwaukee to Appleton, from Appleton to Gary, Indiana, that's going to entangle them even more. So
Right. Yeah.
again, that's fantastic work on your part, and
Yeah.
really just being, diligent on finding your daughter. Again, I commend you on that. And I
Yeah.
can't tell you how happy and elated I am for you and your family.
Yeah. And I would kind of take that too. If any parents listening that, hopefully you don't deal with anything like this, but God forbid you do, that's the best thing is to stay vigilant and, not to give up. And that's pretty much, what the case was with Damara. We always, had hope that, we would find her, and we just had to put the work in, and with you would hope that you get help from your local police department, but I guess you would have to kind of take that with a grain of salt, and you got to know that sometimes you're not going to get that help from them, and you got to reach out, and because now in this day and age, it's social media. Social media is everything. That's how people are. Now 20 years ago, maybe there was different tactics that you use, and I think that law enforcement, in any city or state, they need to change, how they police, and as far as how the strategies that they use with missing children. Because we know that social media that's how people contact people, get their news from there, everything.
Absolutely. No.
And you got all these barriers now that they say, oh, well, we can't, we got to do this subpoena and we got to do this and do that. And they tell you how hard it is, why they can't do this, and that's pretty much what we dealt with for the 3 months she was missing, is they tell you what they can't do,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me get some in here though.
Okay, go ahead. We'll have a question for you when you return.
Getting a little dark here.
Okay. I have a question from audience for you. I put in the chat. I put in the chat that they could send me questions, and so one of the questions is, thank you for your question, Bug Podcast. They wanted to know, is she cooperating with IDing the guy?
Yes. So I no, she's not. Yeah. So I don't know what that could be. Maybe she's scared. Maybe they, of course, coached her.
Absolutely.
Don't tell who we are. So yes,
Right. Oh,
I would say no. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no.
I think over time maybe she'll be more open to kind of reveal some more information. Yeah.
And again, this is another great segue for some of us that don't follow these cases or have not investigated them or been involved in them, this is the danger. Now we need to make sure that she does not go back or have any more involvement, because now the risk gets higher and higher because of her being found. And as you mentioned, the chances of her really coming around,
Right.
and their fear of that, it increases the liability, and that liability increases the chances that they could do something to her as she becomes more of a liability to
Right.
whatever operation that they had her involved in.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but yeah,
hope,
she may open up, a little later, and as probably more so would probably be if anybody would be her mom that she would
got
probably
you.
open up to.
And again, I want to remind my audience, in case you don't know or didn't read in there, we're dealing with a young lady that's 16 years old. So
Right.
she's very young, and so some of these things will take time. So we're hoping for the best for her,
Mhm.
and her recovery and getting all on the right path. So
Right. Right.
the area that I want to mention, the area that she went missing in anyway. There's another young lady missing out of the Milwaukee area right now that I have on my channel. Her name is
Oh.
Delilah Bowden.
Oh. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Delilah Bowden. And so
Yeah.
I want to take a moment at this time to mention that for all of my listeners to watch, and that please like, share, subscribe, let people know that we're live with this video. I'm on with Marquese Parker, who is Damara Parker's father, giving us an update on her. And I'm also talking about Delilah Bowden, a 15-year-old that went missing out of Milwaukee, the same city. And I'm very concerned, Marquese,
Mhm.
after speaking with you about how Damara's case was handled, with me reporting and journaling and investigating on Delilah's case as well. I'm becoming really concerned and a little anxious
Yeah.
hearing that they did not put a detective on your daughter's case. I'm really concerned about Delilah's case.
Do you know if they put a detective on her case or most likely?
Well, I'm going to check further into that. Now that
Yeah.
you've given me the information that you've reported to us about how your daughter's case was handled, I
Right.
want to make sure that there is a detective on her case of some sort, and that they're really looking into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because and again, with some of the dynamics that we've learned tonight from your daughter Damara's case,
Mhm.
um, I'm concerned about the web, the ring, that's in the area as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know that Milwaukee is a city that is the number one, if not number one, number two now for sex trafficking. Because it's one of the main hubs that they've reported. The news did report on it. I want to say a year or two ago, something like that. So I mean, you went that just that's just I'm thinking of that, and the police know this.
Sure.
And if when you're dealing with a missing teenage girl, they don't take that into account, and they say, well, it has to be critical. She would have to had said or something like, or left a suicide note, or then it would be different tactics that they would use, instead of treating it, as such. I mean, if you're in a city where that it continues to be a problem, and that Appleton is that Appleton is known. I mean, not that's not the only thing that is known for, but it has been known. Appleton, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Sure.
and for sex trafficking, drugs, anything like that. And and what's crazy is I saw on Facebook today. There's I can't. It was it Fox 11 or something like that. A news channel. They posted Damara on their page. We couldn't get a single news station here. We got a few of them here to bring awareness to her to her missing,
Right.
and you just couldn't get it. And this news station is located in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's about hour and a half, 2 hours or so from the area that we're in. So it just goes to show you what how how they treat some of the cases. I would like to think that they don't all cases they don't treat this way, but it's just the experience that I had. So
Well, hopefully that is correct, that they're not treating all cases that way. But
right.
again, we just want to congratulate you and your family on
Hmm.
at this point a good resolution. And I know that you and I have talked about some of the things that you're trying to do with your family and to help try to secure Damar's safety as you go forward. And we from the DBI, we certainly want to wish you all the best, and and any
Yeah.
support that we can lend to you all
Yeah.
in that regard. We would certainly do that, and we would love to get an update and have you to come back and update us on
Yep.
Damar's progress.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we're here for. So we were certainly glad we could help you in your search for Damar.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I want to thank you again for all the guidance you gave us, and we just got to move forward from here now.
Yep, yep, I understand. Well, you're welcome for everything that we can do, and I want to thank you again for coming on to the show. And
Mhm.
and like I said, when give us an update and come back, feel free anytime. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow the channel, man. We need parents like you to follow us and help us out with the channel so that we can pass the word to other parents. Maybe we can also help bring some healing and resolution to people. I mean, because you know what it means. You in the bushes with your family.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
all right. Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you, sir.
tonight, Marcus.
All right. Have a
Y'all
good
have
one.
a good night.
You too.
So we're back in the DBI. That was Marquese Parker, the father of Damara Parker. So she has been found. If you were just joining us, she has been found. She is safe back home at this time with her family, and we are ecstatic that that has happened. So I'm just overjoyed. We get a lot of these stories, and they don't have these kind of endings. So we are glad that her story ended the way it did. And I want to thank you for tuning in tonight to the DBI. Darren Barbour Investigates, and this will actually conclude the update on Damara Parker's story. Again, I want to mention one more thing. I want to mention Delilah Bowden. Please go look up her story. I did out of Milwaukee. She is also missing. So we also want to bring light onto that. And I want to tell you, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Hopefully you've already liked and subscribed to this video and to my channel. And please share it, because we want to get the word out to bring home all the missing children that we can. So like, share, and subscribe to the DBI.